Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for the segment, we have Dan Kessous, CEO of Nasdaq Canada, to discuss new initiatives and policy developments for the Canadian market in 2024. Dan, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Hi, Jill. Good to see you, and thanks for having me on your show again. And Happy New Year to you and our viewers.
All right, and thank you, and Happy New Year to you as well. Let's talk about the fourth quarter or 2023 more generally. What were some of the market trends and Nasdaq products that really stuck out in the Canadian market?
Yeah, we had a really good fourth quarter last year. I'm very pleased with the performance of the market overall and the performance of Nasdaq Canada. In terms of market volumes, industry volume overall, we started slow in October. It was even down from September, which didn't look too good initially, but came November and macro indicators like inflation, employment numbers, they brought some optimism to the market, and that resulted in metrics better than all pre-pandemic Novembers. And then we ended the year on a high note with December. The senior volumes were very close to volumes we saw both in 21 and 22, and that's during the pandemic. So that says a lot for December volume this year. So that was a great way to end the year. When it comes to our product offering on Nasdaq Canada, CX2's performance was the highlight of the quarter. CX2 market share grew significantly, especially on venture and CSE listed securities. From Q3 to Q4 on venture, we grew 50%. We went from 8% to 12%. And on CSE listed, we grew 300%. That's threefold, from 3 to 9%. Outstanding performance for CX2. And that's really, testament to the work we've done throughout the year in pricing, in product, in talking to clients. They've trusted us. We've worked closely together, and we were able to deliver the products and the pricing that hit the sweet spot with them, and they rewarded us with order flow and that performance we've had. On NEO, that we launched as well in 2023 around May, I had told you in the past, we've been growing that market nice and steady, 2, 4, 7%. We're averaging 13% in the fourth quarter, and we've had several records along the way with a high of 35%, I think it was at the end of November. So stellar performance on CX2 all around. And the last time I was on Nasdaq Trade Talks, I talked about PureStream and the enhancements we were making to PureStream. We had just filed it for approval. And I'm pleased to report that we got approval. We were able to launch it in December. We saw an immediate uptake from existing participants, and we have a healthy pipeline of clients that are at several stages of testing and implementation coming into the new year. So the great way to wrap the year.
Yeah, well done for 2023 for sure, Dan.
Thank
what
you.
About product launches or new initiatives we should be looking forward to in 2024?
So 2024 will be interesting. We have a long list of product and enhancements we're going to do this year. I know some of our competitors might be watching, so I'm not going to go into too much details. They'll come along as we talk about them and publish them. But a lot is going to be in the hand of the central banks and the decision on rates when it comes to market trends and market volumes. There's some indications that we are maybe in a pause when it comes to rates, maybe some lowering later in the year, both in Canada and the US. I need to bring back some of that cash that's sitting on the sideline, bring it back to the markets, help fuel growth companies, innovation companies, help capital-intensive companies like energy and mining, especially in Canada, and also large cap, the typical dividend-paying companies that have been out of favor lately. As far as Nasdaq Canada in particular, what I can tell you is we're going to keep building on CX2 and the momentum we have. We don't take that for granted, and we appreciate the client support, but we were going to keep working hard to serve them. We have some ideas on pricing. We have some ideas on product. More to come on that. And PureStream that'll be our growth story and our focus for 2024. The team is fully dedicated to grow that product. We have a good roster of clients that are very interested. It'll take a little bit of time to get them implemented and onboarded, but that'll be where we're going to be focusing most of our efforts for 2024 on the product side.
And finally, any policy or regulatory developments to be aware of?
Yeah, so the main one is, again, the SEC, the US SEC proposal, the market reforms that were proposed, several aspects, retail, best execution, tick sizes, access fees. our Canadian regulators had published a consultation paper, and the intent was to get the firms and the participants in Canada to provide feedback on whether we should follow what the SEC is doing and how so. And that's mainly because we have a lot of securities that are dual listed between the US and Canada, and we need to remain competitive when it comes to spreads and fees and you know how clients are able to trade cross-border seamlessly. We need to make sure that Canada remains competitive. So the comments have come in. We're going into too much detail. The focus was on tick size and access fees for obvious reasons. The best X and the retail order handling didn't see too much feedback and comment. From the retail handling perspective, the two markets are very different, and you know the SEC reform don't apply to Canada. Best X, I wish we would have seen a little bit more interest in Canada because I think there's some more that could be done there. But the focus was mainly on tick sizes and access fees, and I think the consensus mainly was to follow the US. Whatever they do on interlisted, dual-listed stocks is to do the same in Canada when it comes to tick sizes and access fees. And leaving non-dual listed and single listed Canadian companies alone for the time being. We'll have time to assess how the interlisted trading goes, and if we need to tweak the rest, then we have the luxury of time and we can do it. So if that happens, I think we have no choice but to follow. It'll bring some complexity, a little bit of cost and pain to the industry, but we won't have choice but to follow what the US is doing there to remain competitive.
All right, Dan, appreciate the update as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.